Hey, good afternoon everybody. Happy leap year. Yeah, it's February 29th. Happens every 4 years, and figure it's a great day. Got the sun shining kind of off and on here in Bermuda to do my video blog for February. So folks, got a few questions from you guys here I'm going to go over. This is kind of a new thing I'm trying. I'm going to do one of these every month, post on the website. If you have any questions that you want to hear or you want to ask, just leave a comment. Let me know what's on your mind so I can give you some answers. All right, here we go. First question comes from a very good friend of mine here in Bermuda. His name is Tom. Ladies, he also happens to be single. Tom is wondering what is Will's most favorite sing-along song to perform at Hog Penny. Hog Penny is the bar I perform 4 to 5 nights a week in season, starting in April. He wants to know what's my favorite song to perform and what is my least favorite song to perform. I actually get asked this question quite a bit. Welcome to Bermuda, that's what I hear every day. We're on my bedroom balcony today, folks, and that's the bikes. You hear those going back and forth all day long and night long here in Bermuda. At Hog Penny, I get asked this all the time, what's your favorite song you want to do? And I've got about 500 songs due in my repertoire, and it's hard to nail down one particular song that really, normally it's something new I've just learned either that month or whatever, because I'm always adding new material to the show. That's normally something I want to play because it's fresh. As far as least favorite songs go, it's normally something that I've played over and over and over again, that if we could just go one more night without hearing Summer '69, Sweet Home Alabama, or Brown Eyed Girl, that would be good. So there's some options there for anyone who's planning to come down and see the show. Hey Tom, thanks for the questions. Best of luck on your search for love. Next question comes from a strange individual from New Zealand by the name of Bror. He says, I am often most creative when in the shower. Describe to us the places where you are most creative. Alright, most creative. It's normally not in the shower, to be honest. I'm busy just trying to get clean. I find that I do my best writing. It's more of a frame of mind than a place I'm in. It takes me normally about a half hour to an hour of just sort of sitting down with the guitar and getting in that mind frame where I'm ready to write and I'm feeling creative. And that can happen anywhere. A lot of times for me, it's in the bedroom, just hang out in my bed, on the couch. If I take off and go down to the beach by myself sometimes, hang out in the shade. So like I said, it's not really a place I need to be, it's just more of a mindset, just getting into that creative mode, and normally not a lot of distraction because it doesn't help me focus at all. So there's my answer for being creative, which by the way, I need to get a little bit more creative and do some more new songwriting, because all the new stuff here coming out is from tunes I wrote last year, so I want to write a bunch of new stuff this year as well. So Bora, thanks for the inspiration about being creative. I'm going to try and put that to good use. Alright, all the way from Toronto, Ontario, one of my favorite towns, my home away from home. Gillian asks, what advice would you give someone starting out? Starting out, in music, from my own personal experience, the biggest thing you can do as a young entertainer, young performer, young musician, is just that, be active, get out there and play. I did a lot of busking, which is street performing when I was younger. That was a great way to work your chops. I was in a jazz group in high school, jazz quartet. We did a lot of bop and hard jazz and stuff. Was also in big band. Any opportunity I had to play or perform, I did. Outside of just my rock band stuff, I was always doing something musical. Even did some musical stuff in high school. I'm not much of an actor, by the way. But anything that involved theater, music, a chance to sing or perform was great, because it all adds up to working on your craft and getting your chops down. That is the most important thing, I think, as a young performer. Don't worry so much about making money right off the bat. Just worry about cutting your teeth and doing your craft and really working on that. And gigging wherever you can. However, saying that, try not to gig for free. That's not something that I condone. I think if you have an ability, and at any level, if you have some ability or some talent, then otherwise you wouldn't be performing live, you should get paid for that, and you should get compensated. Plus, when you perform for free, that drives down the market for all the other professional musicians that need to go out there and make a living. So, two things: when you're first starting out, make sure you're doing as much musical performing stuff as you can, and 2, perform anywhere you can and make sure you get paid. Even in high school, when we were doing gigs in bars, we were getting paid. So those are my words of advice. Thanks, Gillian. Appreciate it. You're a super fan girl. And the last question for our video blog this month comes from Rachel. Rachel is a member of Irish Jam Night version 2.0. She plays the Irish flute. She's also a great pianist. I've had the pleasure of performing with Rachel a couple times at Hog Penny. We're going to be doing a bunch more shows this year. Rachel asks, Will, what's your favorite chord? And that's great because Rachel's a music teacher, so it's a very musical question. I would have to say, you know, there's a lot of chords to choose from, but I'm a big fan of the people's chord. And the people's chord is the C chord, which kind of looks like this. Kind of looks like that. I'm not throwing up gang signs. This is actually how it kind of looks with a headstock in my hand. People's chord, you know, anyone can play a C chord. It's really simple. It's an open chord. You're not having to fret or bar a funky thing up the neck. When you know they talk about these you know, rock songs that have 3 chords in them, I'll bet you dollars to donuts one of those chords is a C chord. It's named after Laura Secord. You know, she makes those chocolates. I'm just kidding. I don't think that's where it came from. But yeah, the C chord, it's right up there next to the G string with some of my favorite things on the guitar. Rachel, thanks for that question. That rocks. It's a good musical question. I should ask music teachers their questions more often. By the way, I got a ton of questions I didn't even get to on this month's blog, but I'm trying to keep the blog kind of under 10 minutes so it's digestible. Speaking of which, next month, March, I got a little update I'm going to give you as well. I'm going into the studio. It's all confirmed. I'm going to be at Metalworks Studios in Toronto. I'm returning to finish off a project I started a little while back. I'm not going to give you too much details on what the final thing is yet, but it will be happening, being released late summer, early fall. I'll give you more details in April once everything's been recorded. But yeah, really looking forward to that. I'm going to be working with Mike Conto, mixing and mastering much stuff. Also, L. Stu Young. And Jennifer Taylor will be doing some vocals on these tracks as well. So doing a whole bunch of stuff in Toronto throughout March. And then in April I'll be back here in Bermuda performing at Hog Penny regularly again. So I'm really looking forward to getting back to that. And for St. Patrick's Day this year, I'm also happy to announce if you're in the Kingston area, I'm going to be doing a huge show with a bunch of other Irish artists, because of course I am an Irish artist. Not. But I know a bunch of that stuff, those music, those tunes, doing it all at the Tir na Nog Irish Pub in Kingston. Cheers to Adam Purdy for having me back to do some more shows there. So folks, enjoy the rest of your month. Enjoy the rest of your leap year if you do happen to see the show on the 29th of February. And I'll see you guys next month. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for your questions. Rock on.